birthday to the producer.
Just when I thought that he would come.
I mean, and shout out to everybody who's been listening since day one.
Oris, good morning.
Good morning. James just wakes everybody up with that.
Come on.
With that is thuggish, hooliganish.
James, a child can be sleeping at this hour. A baby could be in the cradle sleeping, and then you don't want them to come see you for staring up a baby that has been pampered to bed.
If the baby's sleeping at this time of the day,
he's too lazy.
I mean, I don't
gotta wake up. You're in Lagos.
Baby's gotta hustle.
Baby's gotta hustle.
Baby's gotta hustle.
But your radio shouldn't be that loud if your baby is
that no, you when you do that here, exactly. it pops it up.
You just break the whole protocol of Hustle FM, please.
I mean, but it brings the vibe too when you're listening to.
That's what I'm saying. The baby's gotta hustle. Like when James wakes you up, baby,
you gotta
hustle.
Yeah, that's it. So guys,
get on the streets.
We got stories waiting for us inside the Grapevine this morning. So guys, let's begin with this one. Sometime so many years ago, it was Fatai Rolling Dollars who came up with this song, and he said, well, I've just tried it, just pardon. I speak, my Yoruba is more like it's business, it's not Queen's Yoruba. So it's more like just do business Yoruba and I survive. If I need to survive. So he said, so there was this album this song he put out back in the time when he said these young ones are too small. I want they one KRC number or something like that. KRC number. More like saying they're too they're not enough to push these old guys off the chair and all of those. But with the story we've got for this morning now, it's like saying Rema breaks Sunny Ade's record, 40-year-old record on the Billboard albums chart with this Rave and Roses, Rema's debut album, doing all of that. That was set way back in 1983. And this guy just comes up and just pushes Baba off the chair like that.
I don't think he just came up and just pushed him off the chair. I mean, but so confession, first of all, I didn't even know King Sunny Ade was on that chart and had been there for so long. I mean, you can only imagine my shock when I saw the story. And
so that was in 1982. That was with his Juju Music song.
Album. Secondly, I was I'm also surprised that it's Rema's album that is doing this right now. I mean, not Burna Boy or Wizkid or David. Do you understand? For an album, it's quite impressive. And then so I was now trying to understand how come, apart from marketing moves and promotion moves, it may also be the impact of what's her name again, Selena on that last single.
I think there was also Chris Brown on the album.
On that project,
the
right?
album, yes,
but the song with Chris Brown is not particularly as...
It's not popping, yes.
It's not popping. It's not... I mean, do you understand? So I think it may be the numbers that...
We mean the Calm Down. That's Calm Down. Selena Gomez jumped on, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's Calm Down on this particular album.
I think it is.
Or is it on this particular album?
I think it's on the deluxe.
But I mean, regardless, sometimes a particular song in the search or to get a particular song can lead people into different areas of your catalog and will impact this type of record. I mean, this is it's impressive, it's impressive.
And don't forget the spelling thing too. You remember the other time somebody jumped on YEA and then the next thing it cashed in, and then whenever you're searching for Kanye, somehow it goes back to Burna Boy in a way of just
No, I mean, for me that like James, I was surprised that Sunny Ade was on that chart. I just always felt like, I remember that, I know of course that Sunny Ade had like I want to say a brief run, but 29 weeks is a long time. Anyway, he had a run in the US with an international album. Actually, I think Juju Music, the album actually was a compilation of stuff he had already done in Nigeria. They just kind of like to introduce him to the Western audience, pack some of the songs and say, you know what, here. And I think the album after this one, after Juju, had Stevie Wonder, actually, if I remember clearly. But in any case, I think it was a good thing. I mean, I didn't know, but very good for Sunny Ade. But as far as younger artists are coming, pushing old men off the chair, as she said earlier, I think it will only get, in quotes, worse, because there is a certain level of democratic taste going on with the internet. So it means that more people have an opportunity to like get on these charts that have been previously, there's this huge barrier that people are now breaking, mostly because of the internet and because of this intercultural collaborations. Meanwhile, one random tidbit that I'm sure people didn't know was that Sunny Ade actually got into the West. His record deal that got him that album that got him into the charts was actually because people there was this particular label that was trying to look. This was after, remember that Bob Marley died in 1981.
Yeah.
So part of the thought was that they were looking for somebody who was going to replace Bob Marley, and then somebody randomly suggested Sunny Ade. So all of us who are Nigerians, at least now, we're looking back like, wait, Sunny Ade and Bob Marley, they don't sound alike. But the idea for these guys was that this idea of like black or third world countries. So even if this man was singing reggae and this man was singing juju, there was a way that it could work. Meanwhile, another Jara gist in between that was Fela. So somebody they wanted Atlantic Records, I think. Island Records. I wanted to sell. I wanted to what's it called? Sign Fela. Unfortunately, he already had a deal with another label, and so rather than go for Fela, they went for Sunny Ade. Crazy story. I just think it's so remarkable.
So that's the album. Rema's album you're talking about is the Rave and Roses,
yeah.
And so far, Sunny Ade spent 29 weeks on the chart. That's from 1982 to 1983, thereabout. But Rema has spent 30 weeks already, so you see, it's broken the record.
He has pushed him out of the chair, as you said.
Anyway, moving on. Let's get on to some other gist here with this one. But before we get to the gist, let's let them know they can be part of the conversation inside the Grapevine this morning on 0809-444-0981. We'd like to read those WhatsApp messages on 0809-444-0981. That said, this brings us to Afrima releasing the full list of the awards for this year, 2023. Have you seen the list yet?
Not really. You know, this is not. There are two Afrimas, by the way. This is the magazine.
Okay.
So it's not the other Afrima, which is like the more
Afrima. This has double
Afrima.
Afrima. Yeah.
Afrima, like the Igbo word. Exactly. Yeah. The other one is Afrima. So I've always felt like Afrima is a little bit of one of the. Let me not yap them on air. I just always felt I'm not super. It's kind of like in the US. So in the US, there's of course the Grammy, which is not number one. There's MTV Awards. There's anything else. So I think of
the BET too.
The BET, because BET is specifically for it's supposed to be for a particular race. I don't really think of them as like super mainstream. So I think of Afrima like the junior brother of the big awards in Nigeria.
Oh,
I won't lie. I'm sorry guys, but that's exactly what I think about it.
Walk us through the categories.
It is what it is. I mean, actually, let's take a few of them. Best Male West Africa. They have Black Sheriff. They have Adekunle, Benson, Ashake, DDB from Ivory Coast, King Promise Ghana, and Omale. They have the Best Female West Africa. We have Thames, Ira Star, Yaki, and Tiwa Savage. They also have let me go to the album of the year. We have just 3 entries: Davido's Timeless, Ashake's Work of Art, and Omale's Boy Alone Deluxe.
When was Ashake's work?
My brother, I wanted to also ask the same question. So when it comes to these categories, it's also important for them to list what criteria, what's the year,
exactly how what are they considering?
Because
exactly?
these are tiny bits of
new
information that makes people either take your award seriously or not. So I'm not gonna, like Oris said, bash or critique them, but do what you want to do. This is their own contribution.
But bottom line is also a way of promoting the culture and the music.
I mean, that's also we have to.
And we cannot have enough of it also.
Absolutely.
No, please, I have to disagree. Absolutely. We can have enough of our words. We definitely can.
Let Afrima breathe.
I know they will breathe. Look, I'm a big believer in excellence being like the major criteria for awards, or the major criterion for awards. But I find that a lot of especially these lower level ones, I feel like there's a huge gap between what they are doing and between excellence. There's just this gap. I don't necessarily feel like some of the things I'm seeing here, I'm not like, I'm not sure why this person is here, but let me not talk too much. But yeah, I'm not super impressed by the awards, and frankly, with the way they have selected and the way we don't really know what the criteria is, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not. My mind won't be changed by this edition. Maybe next edition.
And it's looking. It will be more like a stroll in the park for. It's going to be a Nigerian stroll, walkover. The way it's going from what I see.
It always is. Now, I said Afrima. I think the owners of the magazine are Nigerians actually.
Okay. We've got someone who drifted. Someone just sent in a message right now. I hope this one is from Ali saying, I just hope that and someone out there is constantly educating the Gen Zs to know that conquering of Hollywood not be today. We don't need all those ignorant arguments and banter on Twitter. That's simply from Ali.
No, but I think we do, and I think people should understand that there are certain parameters by which we can definitely say that the guys of today are ahead. I saw a clip, an extended clip of Bonner performing, I think last in the UK. This is a few months ago, and I said to myself, you know what? In terms of artistry, nobody can compare with Fela. The man wrote music, the man played music, the man was music. He created an entire genre. So we give Fela that. Commercially, though, I think these new guys are like really, there's really no comparison. I'm not sure that in Fela's time, he ever played to that much, in quotes, foreigners, so to speak, at his own concerts. Definitely not. It's certainly not the case, you know. I know, of course, he had big concerts in Berlin and in Europe, but look at what Bonner did. It's just not possible that he did that. So my point, anyway, is that commercially speaking, in terms of how much revenue these people have generated, I mean, while they are alive, because of course, Fela's catalog is still going on and probably will outlast some of these guys. So what they've done while they are alive, Fela doesn't come close.
Can I also add that it makes it look like Fela worked really hard to, and not to say that these younger ones are not working hard, but you see the kind of work that Fela put into his craft, like you just said, wrote his songs, wrote the sound, did this and that to get to achieve whatever he had to achieve. These days, any artist that just one song can actually make you cover a whole stadium in a few months.
That's very possible.
Well, I guess Tayo, in response to why probably they thought in a way why didn't they even think in the direction of Majek Fashek? That's Tayo's thought here, saying I thought Majek was in consideration to succeed Bob Marley.
Sorry. I mean, this history. Tayo. Yes, good. Thank you for bringing that up, Tayo, by the way. So actually, the trajectory is Bob Marley, Sonny Ade, and then Majek.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Majek showed up sometime in the early 90s. You get, but his own reign too was, as everybody now knows, cut short too by certain, well, some people say certain forces, some people say certain misbehavior on his part.
Vices.
But he was not directly after. He was not the person they were thinking about when Marley died. It was Fela, and then it became Sonny Ade. But actually, what's his name? Majek showed up in the 90s. So he was kind of like, so the way I look at it is, like I said, it's first things first. It's a Jamaican. No, it's a Jamaican, Bob Marley, who isn't really connected to us per se in terms of the sound. And then you have Fela, and then you have Sonny Ade, and then you have Majek, and then you have Two-Face, and then you have Wizkid. You know, that's kind of how it works.
But it's kind of funny, you know. See where we started this conversation from. But see how Fela pops up in the conversation of music. It just seemed like this man, we can't even say he should rest now.
Yes, no. It's kind of like this. So Fela is kind of like this central point of Nigerian music. It's kind of like this before Fela and after Fela. Okay. You know. But commercially, like I said, these boys, this is really the mark. There's before Davido, Wizkid, and Burna Boy, and there will be after Davido, Wizkid, and Burna Boy.
Well, probably those guys, they came too early. If they had waited this time to come, probably they wouldn't have put in too much effort.
That's what I say about Two-Face, actually. I think if Two-Face was a later day musician and not the time he came, he would have made, in fact, he probably would be the king of the world.
Okay, we'll drift away from all of those now because we've got this one. This guy is a famous face in terms of the entertainment industry. He acts, he does compare, and many great things. And for a while, we just saw like there was an eclipse somewhere. And we're asking, where has he been? But for you to find out what we're talking about, we'll let you know after this time out inside the Grapevine on Smooth 98.1 FM. My name is Omatseye Atsenuwa. I've got James Silas here with me. I've got Oris here with me.
Indeed.
We'll be back shortly.
You must shout. Waiting to see Miriam, producer. Are you trying to hide face?
Victor!
Open that face.
Victor Peppu.
Oh, Victor is Master Victor of the Seven Seas. Just see us like this sweat, Miriam. What is our crime?
What do we do?
Wait, wow, what? Wow, what? Are you not supposed to provide air conditioning? You bring it from your house and put here. Install it. Why do you have these
Come on.
glasses?
I
Are
think we
your eyes
have.
swollen?
How do we get to our comments on there? Somebody's on Twitter. We need to see. I think we've been leaving some persons out. It says, just letting you know I'm uploading my comments. Right, it's good. I want to know. So we don't leave those people out. Help me check, please. So this is where we are going back. We'll stop here and then come in now, right?
This is the producer, Miriam.
She's the one who direct all of your complaints this way.
Victor Pepple. Did you meet Victor?
No.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, it's a massive video. You can see him. I mean,
I'm going back.
yes, there is. There's still more please. Victor. Yes, it's Miriam.
Go back. We're Smooth 98.1 FM. We're back. It's still Grapevine, and I've got the duo with me here. This guys on a Thursday, the ginger they bring into the studio. Jim Silas.
Victor, I'm not going to do it. I mean, look, I was actually putting my microphone down. They don't want me to. Yeah. Yeah.
Lagos, I didn't do
Are you
that.
censoring James?
I mean, it's trying to hold my voice.
Censoring James Silas. That ain't right. That ain't right. That ain't right.
James Silas, the
Yeah.
Forex is so expensive for you to get dollars
But,
now. Speakers, you know what? So if someone sues you for busting their speakers, what am I? And they come for me. I mean, in
can
their
we just
car
leave
stereo.
the forex out of this one.
Okay.
That will ruin the
I
entertainment.
will not leave it out. Please put it in
It
my
will
pocket.
ruin the entertainment.
Put the forex in my pocket, please.
Let's go.
Okay, this also ties into Forex. You will now see where we are leading to when you get to this man who we said has been away for some time, and then it's popping up now, courtesy of an interview he granted recently with one of the great king of talks, Teju Babyface, and then I'm talking about no other person than Joseph Benjamin, Nollywood actor, who surfaced and said, well, in the interview, why he turned into a cab rider in the US. And then I like, whoa, didn't you hear what Two-Face said? Don't let them Photoshop greener pasture for you. But what am I? What do I know right now? Oris, take us through this.
I don't know. I think Joseph Benjamin was one of the rising stars at some point in time in Nollywood. He was in this film, which is funny, right? Because the person who directed that film is now in like an incredible space. Jade Oshiberu. He was the Nigerian love interest of her title character, Isoke, which was played by Dakore. This is a few years ago. And yeah, I think people they really liked him. I know girls that loved him at the time. You know, so to see this, I'm like, okay, oh, this is actually what happened. So he was saying that, yeah, that he had he went to the US, invited for a certain project, and then once he got there, a few days after or something, he was told that the financiers had pulled out of the arrangement. What this now meant was that in fact, it's such a sad story because I think they told him like in a month or two he would have to start paying rent. And this is a person who had sold off all of his belongings just so he could move to the US. And he said he had about $1,500 on him only, which, if you know about the American rent,
and you know what? Before you go on, Oris, you know, there's this thing called distress sale when they want to go out, when they are going that distress sale. Like, just continue. Just go on.
So
please go on.
I guess for him the idea was this project was going to work out, and then of course he will be fine in the US. Suddenly he's having to squat. You know, suddenly he has to pay rent. Suddenly the job is like has evaporated. So I guess to kind of make ends meet, he had to do what a man has to do. And luckily, he said he joined the church or something. Somebody offered him a vehicle, and then what do you do with the vehicle? Start to do like Uber. I think for me, what was really, I don't know, what's the word now? Is it touching? Was the way I think he's taking everything. I think, of course, it's a lot easier to look back and say, you know what, this happened, and now I'm in a better place. I guess if he was interviewed at the time, it probably wouldn't be as optimistic as it ended up.
Jim Silas, before you chime in on this one, for me, what I find this story again is one again that I like the story to come as it really, I feel some editing has happened in this story.
Naturally.
It just seemed like you're painting a picture now. The next thing you get to the US, or like they tell us in Hollywood movies, next thing you board the night bus and come to Lagos. Wow, 3 months. Wow. The way the story is going here now, just get to US and then get a cab, you drive, and then suddenly you can pay your bills, and I can talk about all of this like nothing happened like that. Serious.
This is serious. This is the guy who was a big star in Nigeria. He's riding.
Is this how you jump into getting to ride and do Uber in the US? I just want to get that straightened out, so you don't.
Wait. Let me explain. He shows up from Nigeria because he's told that he was going to be in a few projects in the US.
Yes.
People who are putting money in that project pull out. So suddenly he's hanging. It takes him a long time, even by his own admission in the interview, which is the longer version, of course. He says it takes him a long time to figure out what to do. He joins a church. Somehow, according to how he put it, like somebody nice enough gives him a vehicle. This is not something that takes place within like a month or two. It took a while for that to happen. But I was saying that even think about the way we think about cab drivers in Nigeria. It might not be the same way in the US, but for us in Nigeria, for anybody who has enjoyed a certain level of prominence to be seen driving a cab, there is something about the Nigerian eye that makes you feel like that is like an incredible calm down for somebody of your status. So I think that's what he's trying to convey, that look, it's of course that helped him, but in the Nigerian sense, for a big star to be driving passengers is not a good look.
James Silas, there was this psychological touch-off for him. He said at some point some of his clientels would take shots of him, even just because this face, I know this face, and what does that for a man trying to pull himself up, going through that?
I mean, I think it's what the circumstance warranted. I mean, the truth is that when you leave the shores of this place, so you can imagine that he left here as a superstar. In fact, landed as a superstar.
I like this. Landed.
Supposed to take a role, in a movie role, and then after some maybe months,
days, they told you that days. They pulled out. Yes, days.
After some days,
the honeymoon was over in 2 days or 3.
And like you said, he probably had plans to just even continue carry on with his career there, and probably didn't get enough information or didn't think that it was going to be that chaotic after some after some months, and that's a system where, bro, if you don't work, you're not gonna eat. You know, this is not a place where you do urgent 2K, whatever.
Exactly. Your family's not going to take my stay in our house briefly.
The dollar is not your mate.
So you see where dollar comes in now.
You have to actually do what you need to do, and that's the truth. And then in that system, there's no room for you to be ashamed. You just know that you would have realized that no send anybody papa for here. But I need to survive.
James, but he did say that on certain days he cried.
But you can only imagine.
I can only imagine. Joseph Benjamin, exactly. Big name on TV in the movies.
Yeah, host big
TV deals. Yes.
The movie roles, and then but you also, and no matter what you do, no matter how much it seems like no matter how much you earn here, you're not a politician. If by the time you convert, just by the time you convert, no matter how much million you have, I mean,
especially now, it was probably better then. Right now, it's incredible because I hear it's about 1,000 now. By the way,
well, the messages are piling up, so we must begin to clear them off.
All right,
okay. James Silas, you do this name very well, Xavier, right?
Of course.
Yeah, Xavier is
from Bagada.
From Bagada, good. And he says, "Good morning, house. What's with this silly comparison? If they are not good, why can't they create their own genre? Fela died how many years ago? We still talk about him till today. These young ones should make research and rest." That's one of my growls with the Gen Z. They think everything resolves around them. They should be careful. But
unfortunately for him, he's wrong because actually pop music revolves around the youth.
Yeah,
everywhere in the world.
And Abib comes along with this one from Surulere saying, "I love James Silas' signature sound."
Thank you.
That is.
Yeah.
You see, you guys are encouraging this man. Though.
And he says, "Please don't huff his Michael."
Thank you.
I
let James Silas breathe.
Yes, James, breathe.
Let James, that's what.
Hey, please.
And Williams comes up saying that, guys, what is available to the Gen Z weren't available then. I guess you guys talked about it a great deal already. So when we talk about the efforts, let's also look into the catalysts that help us. That's the technology. That's what this person is also raising here. True. So those guys didn't have it there, but when you hear the sounds are still crisp. I mean, I don't. Anyway,
it's not all of them, please. Some of them are really badly mixed music.
Okay, so we move away from this one and get into this other one where it seemed like some fans don't take it lying low any longer. It used to be the the Whiskey FC and the OBO.
It still is the risky. Don't
Still
worry.
is.
Those ones are still there.
Oh.
They're still there.
Okay, but let's get into this one. This guy he doesn't whine. This guy is Zazuze. That's it. Portable.
You already know.
Omolanlomi, that's his name. He will tell you. So Habib Okikiola, Portable beaten up around Lekki axis or probably chase. I saw a video of fans telling him we and he said, if you also come to my area, this is what will happen. Has he gotten this bad, James?
I don't know. So sometimes it begs the question, what exactly would have happened? What did he say? Because when it comes to Portable, you can't even rule anything out. He has the way he has probably said something on, and then it might not even be about what he would have said. It would have been wherever he was at and what he did to or said to somebody around at that point in time. You know, and then the funny thing is how the phones still pop out when these things are happening and they are recording and he makes it to social media and then he goes there again to be, throwing tantrums and warning people on his page and everything. But I really don't think that, sadly, his career has actually thrived through the whole social media controversies, things he says or what he had done or whatever. And I really think he needs to calm down.
He didn't go for performance. He said he had gone to shop for clothes for a new, according to the story, for a signee.
But the thing with
someone like freedom of movement.
Yeah, but of course freedom of movement. But the thing with someone like Portable is there's just so much controversy around him. Who knows which group have beaten it now? Is it the people who? He had an issue back in the day with a guy called DJ Chicken. He has an issue with Sheyi Vibes. There's an issue with a certain area in Lagos. Just like all of these small things. Also like, okay, now that you have been beaten, which of these many people who are offended by your statements
would you know
is the real culprit? It's just incredible.
Okay.
Honestly.
If Godwin Iheanacho is listening, we're still waiting for he sent us a message on Twitter saying just to let us know I am listening. Comments uploading. We're still waiting for that message to come on. But let's get on to this next one. Tory Lanez sentenced to 10 years.
Tory Lanez
Sentenced to 10 years in prison for shooting Mega D Stallion.
Yeah, this is something that has
been dragging for a while,
has been dragged. I think like it happened in 2020 or 2021.
Not sure anymore.
Yeah,
it's been so long. Maybe in the 80s.
I think 2021. So this he had been convicted as of December 2022, but the sentencing proper had not happened. It would have happened in January or February. Yeah, but it was now moved to just recently. So before he was finally sentenced, or before the judge finally banged the table, he was allowed to talk or speak, where he was actually begging and saying that he regrets the whole thing, and then that he even the said person or the
Mega D Stallion
herself, that he still loves her or still respects or whatever, But and then also begged for the sentencing to be at least tamper, just so messy and stuff.
Well, it was too late, Sha. I feel like the problem is this matter wouldn't have gotten to this level if he had just been apologetic early enough.
But Megan said she had to go to the hospital to get bullet fragments.
But for the first she didn't want to say who actually had done anything.
Yes.
They had arrested them actually. There was a viral video showing like some kind of CCTV showing the vehicle after the police asked them to come out and she was hopping. That video kind of she was injured and everything, but she was reluctant to say what exactly had happened. But my guy kept on doing what some guys do, and here we are.
Okay. That means it would have to sort that out in 10 years in crunch. But
let's it might not be 10 years.
He has done 10 months the way they
count. So maybe it might be
like
5, I don't know.
For good behavior, he might just do maybe 4 or 5 years.
Well, it seemed like a third baby is on the way, but not for you, James Silas, or not for Oris. But it seems
Oris doesn't have one even.
The singer Ciara is expecting a third baby with her husband Russell Wilson. So
I'm happy for them because I feel like she's in high spirits. Third one,
Some people have 9 already.
Yeah, in America.
Akon we know Akon. We know the movie actor.
No, that was different. Okay. Different baby mamas here and there. You can have
Akon is an African.
Actually,
Ciara is American.
Okay.
I'm not sure that the stars they are giving to, at least not when they're married, they're giving to these large families. But yeah, I
when you're not, what's that guy's name again? come on, what's his name? I'm looking at his picture in my head. Mariah Carey's ex-husband.
Oh, Nick. But Nick is not
Nick
married.
Cannon.
But still,
Nick Cannon,
when you
Nick-
have
Yeah,
if you have
but
baby
Nick isn't
mamas,
married.
you can have as many children as possible.
Yeah.
But then she also, I think she had one with Future, I guess.
Yes, one.
Yes, she does. And it kind of feels like Rosa has kind of almost adopted
The-
so
yeah.
I think they're happy. I hope they're a happy family. They really look like they're happy from the outside. I hope inside is also the case.
And
Okay.
please, I don't want to hear that they are breaking up or they are divorced.
Because
I don't want
apparently
to hear
there's a New York magazine called New York Magazine actually that had on their cover they say this is the summer of breakups.
But then that also links up to our final story. That is the story of Prince Harry's. That's also more like a connection too, because we hear there's a rumored sort of divorce looming. They're living separately, but that's not the gist, right? But that's not the gist here. They say it's been the Royal Highness title has been removed by according to the website. Let's just walk that.
In fact,
quickly.
I'm surprised it's taking this long.
I thought that had been removed.
They had
He
renounced
renounced,
whatever, like 2 years, 3 years ago. So why is it just taking them this long? Please?
No,
Okay.
so they are saying from the family's website.
Yes.
So
That's what I'm saying. Yes, but I'm saying they should have taken it out since. Let me give you a story.
Okay.
You know
go
this
ahead.
Jeff Bezos.
Yes.
Bezos' wife.
Yeah.
Of course, the divorced one now. Divorced again. Anyway, Jeff Bezos' wife married somebody else
Yeah.
after she left Bezos. And then that she and the guy who was a teacher, they started to do a lot of contributions and stuff, wrote a few articles on philanthropy and everything. You know that after they got divorced as well, she went back and removed his name from every single piece that they had written online.
Savage.
We are done. We are done with the Grapevine. This one, honestly, you guys made it a real great one. But let's quickly say thank you to Tayo, who sent in a message saying on the Benjamin issue, and Portable is the victim of various tough war. It is hard to know where the problem lies.
Exactly.
And then Tony Lanes, it says Tony Lanes has been able to stir sentiment against himself for what he did. Will he be doing music like Shine? And I am sure his father will be shouting again before entering
that is
his
true.
car. And thank you, Xavier, for your message. And this is where we say thank you, James Silas.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Catch us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. And we also have a show called The James and Oris Show
On YouTube.
on YouTube. You can
And
check it
thank
out.
you to Oris also.
Who's always on Catch Oris. You can always catch me, but don't
Don't touch him.
Like
exactly.
like Zazu, like
Exactly.
No.
Don't hit me, just catch
It's
me.
not
now.
that deep.
Catch me
It's not
there.
that deep.
My name is Omatseye Atsenuwa. I'll talk to you in about top of the hour for Lagos Talks. Good morning.
Yeah, so really.
And it's a wrap.
Thanks very much.
Mr.
guys.